Well, greetings again. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt with the American Orthodontic Society, and we are training young people or people to teach these things. And I realize these videos go all around over the world, and I've worked for a long time developing a system for doing impacted teeth, and for a long time, this was back 60 years ago, so 50 some odd years. I did nearly all my impactions myself. I took electrosurge, opened them up, went down, cauterized it, etched the tip of the tooth, bonded a hook onto it with it already made, and came out, and then we put this dental floss pool. That wax dental floss will slide over a 90-degree deal and still have about the same pressure it would have to go straight across. So I'm going to get on this case real quick and see if we can show this. This is a young man we had. Started out and he had several problems. Most people do, and he's a nice kid. We worked with him quite a while, and I'll show 2 or 3 ways of bringing teeth in. And here's the problem that we have right here. You got a pretty much class 1. Now these are baby teeth right here. They're just hanging on the edge. As the permanent one comes up in it eats all the dentin out and just leaves an enamel shell up there, and they ought to have. I have one of those I could show you on a case, but not these. Okay, here is the young man. And the first time we saw him, and this is Panorex number 1, and no date on no date. We don't have anything here. But this is a pretty seriously impacted tooth. Now, if you look at the x-ray real strong, and you look and you see the shadow of this permanent tooth coming across like this, it's him laying up there. This is the permanent lateral tooth here. Going up this way. Now the tooth has to be buccal or lingual to that for this to look like this. But we're not exactly sure whether it's on the buccal or the lingual. Sometimes you can tell. You get out here close and you can tell pretty much where it is. And you go and penetrate and try to find this tooth absolutely where it's going to be. Now on the other side of the mouth, we got one coming in right here, and this follicle is pushing this tooth in this direction. And it'll shove it over here, and we'll close this, and this will come on in that space right there. Now these are deciduous teeth that just have the shell left. We've got wisdom teeth back in here on this side. Well, no, I'll take that back. These are 12-year molars, and here is a wisdom tooth on that side. But these are 12-year molars down here. All right, let's get going. And the next Panorex we took on this, we were opening a gap with this space. And there's a Dr. Broussard who came up with this idea, the way you can expand teeth with a deal like this. You got vertical slots in here, and you can fix this up, and I'll just make a little white right here and show you. If we got a tooth sitting in here, something like this, and we got another one over here, and they're both like bicuspids or something, and you want to push these teeth apart, then you can make a wire it goes down like this, and it just up and down. And you can expand these or contract these. And you can, if you've got little vertical slots in here, this thing would go down and up, down and up, down, up and down and up. And you can press this, and you can push the root of the tooth in this direction, so you can run it, and you can make this open. And this was a Dr. Broussard that came up with this, and I honor him by saying who he came up with this. And this man worked till he was 90 some odd years old too, so I respect him greatly. And he learned a way to spread teeth apart like that, and that works good, and you can learn to use it. However, we don't actually do that very much, so we would open that space. And let me get back now to our regular picture of him, and here we got that in there, and it's pushing those teeth apart, and that works good, and you can learn how to use that. And on the bottom, everything's lined up good, no big problem. And you'd come in, you'd press it right there, and it'll push that, make that wire go out this way, see? So it'll push this over here. If you pressed it down here, it would make this go out. And in other words, you can control how your root goes by where you press those little deals. If you pressed in here, it would make this go. If you pressed down here, it made this go out. In other words, you could push the tooth apart and make room for the implant or whatever you needed to do to get back into that spot right there. And I'll show that on the x-ray in a few minutes. All right, here we put the square deal, we press that here. And as I did this, move this up this direction, like that. And that'll make this root go in this direction, right there. All right. This shows Panrex number 1, and I don't have the date on this, but this follicle around this tooth, you can see it pushing against this tooth, and it will move this tooth in this direction right here. You see, it's going to come closer over here. Now over here we got a fossil follicle, and we don't know whether it's in front of or behind, and you have to make that decision there, whether this tooth is behind that, and bring it over in there. So we're going to spread these teeth apart, and here it is. This is where we use a little deal like that to move the teeth apart, get the roots spread out like that. So here we've started, we put some tip in, see how that tip right here, and back here we could have gone up and tipped that one too and make it go that direction. So this is much better. We put some tip in there. Let me go back and show where that tooth was here. And now it's over there. Now we'll go for another month or two and take another picture, number 3. And we're expanding this gap over here, and I don't have the x-ray there now, but we're making room for that tooth to come through. All right, we've got the space opened real wide. We figured it's going to work. So that's number 1 x-ray. That's number 2. And here's number 3. You see the tooth coming out, coming down here. And we'll continue number 4. number 5. And that tooth is out in front of that tooth. We got to get it over that hump and get that. So we move this root back in this direction. You see that little wire going like that in here. We got this one to come down all right. All right, we got this one moved out good and straight. It's coming straight down in that space. The other one doesn't like too much. So it wasn't moving like I wanted it to. So we went after the crown and we bonded something onto it and put a spring on it, pulling it over in this direction. That follicle wasn't pushing it out hard enough, and it was getting further too much time being spent on it. And so we did that. Now they gave that another pull. We got that coming in. Now we'll get it down in here. We'll have to rotate it. And we turn it around and we got more space we need. We'll have to close that up. Now there's no wisdom tooth up here, but we have a wisdom tooth on the bottom. Both the side and the bottom have wisdom teeth. The upper teeth, let's get this young man's 15 years and 4 months old here. And this is, we took 11 Panorexes trying to find why this didn't go. So we got it in here. Now we'll close that space up. So there we've closed that. And we had no room for the wisdom teeth up above, so we took them out. Now here, we went up here and had an old surgeon hook that gold chain on it. We're pulling that tooth down to that spot. I don't like the chains. We pulled it over to that place. We get it pretty well close over there, and I hooked this spring onto it. We were having trouble with that tooth moving up there for some reason or another. So we got it down there, finally pulled it in place. Now you've got to turn this tooth around, you see. So we have a better way to rotate it today. We get in there, we can rotate any tooth on anybody. Yeah. All right, we will rotate that tooth. And it took us a while to do. This case carried over for a long time. We had a lot of trouble moving those teeth in there in place. But we got it over there, we rotated it, and you can see it. We didn't have our way of rotating we have today. Now where we want to turn this side around here, we would hook something on this and go around the tooth and come back over here and hook over to something and spin it in that direction and then hook it up that way. So we turned it around, finally got it into place. And the other side there, there we do that. In other words, we hooked it onto the arch bar here, went around, put it on the bracket here, but not on the arch bar, so the thing would rotate in this direction. All right, we got it around there and tied it to the arch bar. And we finished him up at that point. We just closed it up. I think that's the final x-ray that I took on him, but we messed around with that and took longer than I had really anticipated finishing that case up. So anyway, we got it around there. So this is 6/04 when we finished him. So I'll say goodbye, and we'll check in on another case here in a few minutes. Thank you a lot now. Bye-bye.